Good evening and welcome to the Whaler Guys, 20-28 Sargent Street, the world headquarters of the Whaler Guys and the Whalers Brigade. I'm Jerry Irwin, along with Peter Hindle.
Yeah.
We are the dynamic duo that keep this dream alive that we're going to bring back the Whalers one smack at a time, right?
1 hour, 1 minute, 1 second at a time.
We have an interesting show tonight. We're talking NHL playoffs.
Yeah, a lot of going on.
We're talking the Yard Goats new stadium, Dunkin' Donuts Park.
Yeah, some interesting stuff there.
And we're going to wrap up with some interesting news that the governor announced the other day with the XL Center in Rensselaer Field. Good evening, Pete. It feels like it's been forever.
Yeah, we've been on a little bit of a hiatus. Had a break there, and then we did some shows, of course, downtown Hartford. More of those coming up. And, this is our first show in a couple of weeks, so it feels like we haven't been here in so long. I mean, we forgot our jackets.
You're still ugly as hell.
Well, that's not going to change.
I know.
There's nothing we can do about that.
We got faces for
We
radio.
sh- yeah, we
That's
should
why we
be
did
a-
more
yeah,
podcasts
yeah,
to
yeah.
spare all of you
Yeah.
these looks.
Yes, yeah.
But,
Because, listening is one thing, but to have to, stare at
well,
something.
it's kind of like music in the car. It's like background music.
Yeah.
And,
That's what we're talking about. But,
So,
yeah.
so the playoffs. You said in the off-air show that you've been able to see quite a few games, and I've been able to see quite a few games. And I must say, looking at the playoffs this year, and again, I think every year you turn the page from regular season to the playoffs. It is just amazing how much they crank it up, and it's kind of like NASCAR when they shift down to another gear and away they go because. Playoff hockey is just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch the games, you see it.
Anybody can tell. Like my wife is not the biggest hockey fan in the entire world, but she happened to. I had a game on, and she's like, "Boy, these guys are really going at it." She's like, "They're playing like it's the playoffs," and I go,
It is.
"It is." She's like, "I thought it was because boy." The point is, I'm trying to get at is anybody looks at these games, and you could tell. There's an extra gear that's been hit with these playoffs. And we might as well start with the locals here. We got both the Rangers and Bruins. I mean, locals in terms of they're local, not really loved locally, but they're local.
And they are in their own television areas because we own ours, damn it. I hate when people say, we'll never have a team back because
the
New
Rangers
York
and
and
the
Boston
Bruins.
were trapped. I'll screw
Yeah.
you. Really, it's funny. My wife said the same thing. In between whatever we're watching, we flip back to the game to see what's going on. And she goes, the Bruins are up this. I said, yep, they're winning right now, but they're down in the series. So she's actually paying attention to it. So it's great. Right when I think she really doesn't care, she comes out with like she's paying attention. So I'm like, wow, all right.
Yeah. I know that you always hear that thing about the Bruins and the Rangers. And you want to be like Jack Nicholson in Batman in 1989, where he just takes, moves everyone out of the way. Get out of here. So, but let's talk about the Rangers and Bruins. Who do you want to talk about first? Which series?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, you have two interesting series. I was at a dilemma because I don't like the Rangers or Montreal.
Right. Put you in a rock and a hard spot.
I want Montreal to win, and I want Boston to win. So we have a Montreal-Boston playoff. I don't think that's going to happen on the Boston side as much as I want Boston. I can see Montreal until last night actually winning the series. I think the Rangers played a great game last night, 2-1 victory. Nash gets the game winner. And Montreal has such a great offense, but I must say the Rangers have been playing really, really well. And the big question mark was what were they going to do at home, and they ended up getting a split. And that's the important thing for the Rangers. They're in it.
It's such a weird team. So the Rangers are definitely capable. I mean, this Montreal Rangers is straight up pick 'em almost. I mean, they're through 4 games, they're all knotted up. The Rangers don't play that well at home. They play very well on the road, and you saw that. They won a game in Montreal. They lost that game at home, in some retrospect, and I think Henrik Lundqvist is a phenomenal goalie. I think he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he's going. However, you can say that there's been moments in this season and also in these playoffs where he's just been, manhandled, and there was that one guy that got the one-handed scored on him. So I'm not saying that he's losing it or he doesn't have it anymore, but you could see that he's not like 25 years old anymore. I mean, he's 34, I think. So this is it for the Rangers. I mean, they have to make this push. Now,
when you line up those two goalies, it was evident the other night when Montreal won the game, and they got out quick against the Rangers. And I think when you get out quick against the Rangers, it puts
Lundqvist
in a position where he doesn't like to be.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to get
he was
bailed
in
out.
total control.
Yeah. Last night he was. Last night you would have thought he was 25.
Yeah.
I mean, he was dominant.
Yeah. And that's the whole key with I think beating the Rangers is get ahead of Lundqvist right away, because he's such. You said it best. He is a great goaltender.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And at the other end of the ice, Carey Price is a very good goaltender.
Yeah.
But ever since he got hurt, he's not the same caliber as he was.
Yeah, there's something a little bit missing there too. I went with, now we made these kind of picks beforehand, but since we didn't get to a show till now.
Right.
But I've got the Rangers in 7. I've got the Canadians in 7, but I do think it's going to go 7. My concern is this next game is a Game 5. It's in Montreal. The Rangers play a little bit better on the road. Whoever wins that Game 5 kind of could be the winner, because then you put the other team in the hole where they got to win the next 2.
Right.
And, there's home and away games there. So I've got Canadians in 7. You think Canadians are winning?
I think Canadians.
Yep.
I with the way it's going, I would go 7 as well.
Yeah.
I don't see one team really just streaking out and getting the wins they need to close it out before 7.
Yeah.
The one you have to really be cautious about is the and I know we're going in order, but the Pittsburgh and Columbus series. Now you're at 3-1. The Pittsburgh Penguins win that 4th game.
Yeah.
They're going to be sitting pretty relaxing.
Yeah.
Which can be a pro and con.
It's almost good that they gave up a game as long as they close out the series. Now, I thought that this game was going, 6 or 7 games, no question. But, Pittsburgh got out to that 3-game lead, and you could say, hey, lots of teams come back from 3-1. Some teams have come back from 3-0. But
I really thought.
I don't see it. Yeah.
I was hoping for Columbus to be more in the series. I'm glad they weren't swept.
Yeah.
I think Columbus, as we watched John Tortorella's pregame conference the other, I thought Columbus would be in it because they made so many great strides this year as a all-around club.
Yeah.
And I wish it was a lot closer. I think the Penguins are going to take that series, even though I want Columbus. Being a practical person, I would say I can see Pittsburgh winning the next game and it's over.
I took Pittsburgh in 6, and I really did it because of the goaltending. And it was funny because at the time I'm thinking Murray. Murray over Bobrovsky,
Right.
And, he sometimes has a little issues. He's been solid during the regular season, though. He's been very good.
He hasn't been that consistent.
Not spectacular. And it's not necessarily, they've been scoring plenty of goals. I think last night was 5-4, Columbus won.
They were up 5-3 until under 2 minutes left and Pittsburgh scored.
Yeah, so, I had Pittsburgh in 6. It could very well end in the 5th game, but you never know. You never know. I really didn't like the playoff setup because I don't think these two teams should have been playing each other. I like it better when they do the 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5. This is like, you're the second wild card. Well, you get this matchup. And we can go on to the Bruins now because the Bruins really made out. They're not doing that well, but they got lucky in drawing Ottawa.
It was, what took the Bruins out of the game the other night was, first of all, the ref should have put his whistle away because it was not it was a penalty by black and white standards.
Yes.
By rules. But when it's 3-3 and you're in overtime, let them play.
Yeah.
That's the golden rule. And I think as much as it was a penalty, and I will agree as a Bruins fan, it shouldn't have been called in a playoff game.
Right.
Because then, obviously, Ottawa goes on a power play and they score to win the game 4-3.
Right.
I think the Bruins did a great job coming back from a 3-1 deficit to tie it up.
Right.
But again, they struggled. They just couldn't get that next goal in, and then they lost in overtime, which they did a couple times this year, which was, they played hard, got back into it, and just didn't have enough juice to get them
Yeah, now the Bruins play tonight. This is be their Game 4. This is in Boston, and this will be also on, I think, on the USA Network tonight at 7 p.m.
Oh, okay.
So you can watch that game tonight, and this is kind of a must-win for the Bruins. They go down 3-1. They're looking at the same thing Columbus is. Originally in this series, though, I did have Boston, and I had them winning in 5 games. So I'm way off the mark here.
I think I'm going to give the Bruins in 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a Bruins fan.
Right.
Ottawa has had their number all year.
Yeah, I was they were undefeated in the regular season. It was 3-0-1, which was a little bit surprising to me because you just think Boston has a little bit more than that. And
they did in the regular season.
Yeah.
But they just called up 4 defensemen from Providence.
Right. And that's an issue,
Carlo's out.
Yeah.
You have Krug out
Yeah.
with injuries. They're not coming back anytime soon. They brought up McAvoy.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of youth on this Boston team.
Yeah, and that's not
and
good.
not the right time to bring in youth is, the playoffs.
Not when you're not, because it's going to get harder from here. I mean, that's what I mean. The Bruins got a great draw in getting Ottawa because it's somebody, I mean, granted the regular season didn't go well for them, but it's a team, they've got to be playing Ottawa than playing Pittsburgh or some other monster.
I think if they were playing more of a powerhouse team, it would have been a 4-0 sweep already.
Yeah, right.
I think, like you said, they have a series that they can, if they play well, they can win.
Yeah.
It's not like the Columbus-Pittsburgh series where Pittsburgh's really manhandling Columbus.
And we have a couple of really good series that are very tight. Now we have Edmonton and San Jose. They're tied at 2 games apiece. That could go either way. I actually had the Edmonton Oilers in 6, so I still got a shot at that. But these games have been pretty tight. They're pretty. They're 2-2.
They are to me.
Yeah.
What NHL playoff hockey should be.
Yeah.
The first game, I thought it was in heaven.
Yeah.
The Edmonton Oilers come out and they are just hitting every shark on the ice.
Yeah.
Kasten there had some. Him and Lucic were just obliterating people in that first game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the Sharks end up winning that first game.
Right.
So I don't know if it was discipline versus physicality.
Yeah.
But again, I watched the game last night. Again, they were hitting again. It was great, and it was almost like because you have that West Coast open, wide open hockey.
Yeah.
It was a way for the Oilers to slow down the Sharks.
Yeah. It's great.
And Thornton came back last night.
Yeah.
That was his first game back from an injury. So that's another dynamic that the Sharks bring to the table, where I think they get the edge. I want the Oilers. I would go with 6.
Yeah.
But
they certainly could go either way. That's another one. And the other one that's that can go other way, surprisingly actually, because I really thought that Washington, they were doing Washington and Toronto here.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that Washington would probably beat the Leafs, and I think I put 6 games. But Washington's having a heck of a time with Toronto, a really hard time.
I think I would go with Toronto in 7.
Yeah.
And I think, since you're a Yankee fan, I can say this.
Yeah.
The Washington Capitals are what Alex Rodriguez was to the Yankees. He was good during the season.
Yeah.
Come playoff time.
Yeah. Oh, you mean
nothing.
like OV?
Yeah.
OV? Yeah.
Nothing.
There's something there that happens.
Ovechkin's pulling his weight, but nobody else is following him.
Yeah.
And really, they have such a powerhouse.
They do.
And they added Shattenkirk on defense, and Holtby is an all-star goalie.
Oh, I think he's great. Yeah,
but
I think he's in top 10. Yeah.
If you don't have goals,
5,
you can't win.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem. And they now they played. Are they playing tonight?
They're playing tonight.
They
as
are
well.
playing tonight. So that is a must-win for Washington. They have to win to get back into the series.
They're letting Toronto stick around.
Yeah, and Toronto's living off of, oh my God, it's so great to be here. We're playing with house
nothing,
money.
They have nothing to lose.
Yeah, that's what it is. And Washington's like, hey, we need to get out of the first round. This happens to us every year. And that was another thing. I would have loved to seen Washington and Toronto have different draws because you'd like to see Toronto advance, and then you kind of feel bad for Washington that they never get, and they have everything like you said. They got the OV, they got Shattenkirk, they got Holtby. I mean, they have plenty of talent to get there.
I'm wondering if Washington winning the President's Trophy, having the most points, kind of exhausted themselves throughout the year.
Yeah.
Because then Toronto came on strong at the end to move ahead of the Bruins.
Right.
And that was, to me, that is what's phenomenal about Toronto. They've maintained a very positive push into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like you hear about the NCAA, it's when they catch that stride. And right now, the Toronto Maple Leafs, I think, are striding at the right time. And they obviously, you have Ovechkin and the Capitals saying, what the hell are we going to do?
Right.
They have a team that's ready to go, and Washington's like, whoa, we have to crank it up a bit.
Yeah. And we got one more series here, and this is not good for Whaler fans, most Whaler fans probably are pulling for the Chicago Blackhawks because Joe Quenneville and Kevin Dineen, two of and pretty much the stalwarts of the 80s for the Whalers, are coaching that team, and it just might be a case here where we're saying Chicago's just kind of worn out. They've had a great run, but they just don't seem to have it against this Predator team at all. Surprisingly, getting shut out at home twice in the first 2 games.
5-0.
Yeah.
And, for a young club like Nashville, they've gelled at the right time, just like Toronto. every single game I've watched, and I haven't watched them entirely, but watching Nashville, they have shut down Kane, Taze, and like you said, shutting out the Chicago Blackhawks
twice.
Amazing.
And they won in overtime the other night.
Pekka Rinne is playing great in goal.
And Peter Laviolette is the coach there. That's great to see because that's one of those markets that, I guess, Nashville, the Predator, I forget what the name of the arena is, but the arena in Nashville is rocking because people are really in it. So you got, cowboy hats and Predators. And
they have a fantastic fan base down there.
Yeah, they do. And, it's just great to see a little bit of a mix. And, you wait to see what's going to happen here, but I can't see Chicago coming back. And I did have Chicago winning that in 6 games. But I don't think that's going to happen at all now. It's completely.
I want Chicago to win from the Whaler aspect. But you can also say from the Whaler aspect, you have the off-ice talent of Stu Grimson, who does the Nashville Predators radio program. Radio or TV, I forgot. He's an analyst with them. So, he must be having a great time. And, I want Chicago from the Whaler aspect. I can see Nashville winning this series. Yeah,
it's impressive. And I'll tell you what, the other thing that's been neat is to see with Montreal and Nashville how to see this the Shea Weber and the Subban trade, and to see how that's working out. And it's working well for Montreal. You saw Weber had a big game in the game 3.
Very well for Nashville.
Yeah, it's working for Nashville too. So it's almost like it was sometimes you see these big blockbuster trades. Somebody gets the shaft end of the deal, but this seems to be working out well for both teams. And it'd be kind of funny if they ended up.
It's a great series from the Nashville aspect. I don't know what Coach Q is thinking about or talking to the team about, except, hey, pull up your bootstraps and let's move along, because they're in a place they've very rarely been.
Right.
Not only behind, but you're being swept at this point, and tonight could be the one where it's all over.
It is. It is.
So, and I enjoyed the other game that's on tonight, which is St. Louis, Minnesota, and Minnesota's hanging on by their fingertips. And this is another team like Columbus that went through that major winning streak and showed everyone what kind of talent they had. And now in the playoffs, they all went away. St. Louis seems like a fine-oiled machine. Elliott's playing great goal for, or is it Elliott? Yeah, Elliott's still with them. Yeah, Elliott's still in goal with the Blues. And man, it's funny. Your flashback to Bruins days, you have Sobotka, who's playing for the Blues, and he's having a great series. Again, another team that I would not have picked. I wanted the Blues because I liked what they did last year in the playoffs.
Right.
But I didn't expect them to be up 3-0 against Minnesota.
No, as a matter of fact, I had the complete opposite. I had Minnesota in 6, and the reason I did that is because St. Louis had lost Shattenkirk. I thought that maybe they had kind of lost a little something from last year, but that doesn't seem to be the case at all. The goaltending has been incredible.
I went with Blues in 6 as well.
Did you?
I went Blues in 6.
I went Minnesota in 6. That's not going to happen. I mean, I can't see that happening. But that's interesting to see that St. Louis has still got it. So that we're gonna have to see how well they do, because if they get on to the next round, we'll see what the next opponent is. But the last series we got is Anaheim and Calgary, and Anaheim's all over Calgary with 3-1 lead.
Which is a shame, because I thought Calgary was going to have a little more juice. They just made it into the playoffs after quite a few years out of the playoffs. So to have them come in, I thought it was cool. It was great to get them back in the playoffs. It's a great place to see a game up there. And their crowd is into it. Just like Edmonton. They have such great fan bases. I mean, all the teams do, but when you're watching it, and obviously it's a 10:30 start, or 10 o'clock start. It's great to see it as a second game coming on after the East Coast games.
Well, it's also great to see for the from a TV aspect. Maybe the NHL isn't so happy there's so many Canadian markets and they're winning because the TV money is less of of a revenue for the league. But you have to be excited to see these teams like Edmonton, Ottawa, and Toronto winning games in the playoffs. It's like, oh, thank God, you guys are back.
Calgary, you guys have won, but still.
Yeah, so it was great to see these teams back and see them winning. And you could have a Canadian team in the Stanley Cup Finals, and that's the first time that's happened in a long time.
We have to talk about one of the best goalies, not only for the regular season but now into the playoffs, is Cam Talbot. For the Edmonton Oilers. He got shelled, but Cam Talbot had a stellar year. And remember, he played for the Hartford Wolfpack, Connecticut Whale. And now he's he's in a great position to be one of the top goalies of the league this year.
Wow, that's
and,
good.
He bounced back really well. And Connor McDavid, watching him is amazing.
Yeah.
And, Wayne Gretzky was at the game the other night in Edmonton, and he was up in the suite there watching the game, and he had a chuckle when what was it the other night when Edmonton won 2-0 on 2 shorthanded goals. That was phenomenal. Casson had one, and then McDavid another shorthanded goal. To have that talent, 2 shorthanded goals. Let alone in one game, let alone in the playoffs.
Right.
The regular season maybe, but playoffs. This is high intensity hockey, and they give up the goalie.
Well, next Wednesday we'll have to get back and see where we are. We got our predictions in here. We only have actually a couple minutes left, so we got to run to this. We went to the Yard Goats home opener on the 20-year anniversary of the Whalers leaving. That was kind of a planned thing. We thought the stadium was fantastic. You just got to go see the stadium because even though we've had all these problems, we know it took forever to build and it's over budget and this and that, but it's different than most AA ballparks that I've been to. It has outfield seating. There was a lot of amenities. They have lobster rolls. They have a salsa station, a lot of stuff, and they have Whaler stuff, and we saw plenty of Whaler fans. And they're capitalizing on something that the AHL in Hartford hasn't, and that's embracing the Whaler fan base because there's so much out there that it's a good thing to do. I mean, it's money in your pocket, embracing the Whaler fan base. But what did you think of the stadium in general?
I thought the layout of the stadium is great. I think what really impressed me was the views you had of the city, just like they said when they were getting this underway, was that you were going to have a view of the city from where you were sitting. And you could see the big buildings right outside and the big stag for the Hartford out there. What they did was beautiful because it embraces Hartford. The history of Hartford. They're going to have a Hall of Fame wall up there. This is impressive. They did a lot of hard work and they did a great job. The amenities, like you said, you have Bears in there. Bears has their own big barbecue area up there. The amenities wrap around the whole concourse. So wherever you are, whether you're behind home plate or in center field, you have something to drink or eat wherever you are.
They have bounce houses for the kiddies.
We could get really fat there.
You could. There's a lot of different food stuff. We really enjoyed it. It's a great place to watch a game. Center field has a great. There's a sunset goes right over home plate. Lights up the sky, and of course, there's nothing but parking lots behind home plate. So you get a clear shot of the sky. It just seems to work. It seems like it's going to be a good thing, and it's great to have. Here's the baseball team embracing the hockey market.
The ticket prices are $5 and $6.
Yeah, $6 and $8 a ticket.
And the other thing is they're playing like the Whalers. They're 0-6 at home.
Yeah, they are. Now, last year, if you remember, they started off like 13-0 or something.
So this year they got some home jitters.
Well, the ballpark's worth it.
I think the management there is doing great. They had 2 sellouts right in a row. You had the Thursday opener and Good Friday. You had another sellout. They were selling standing room tickets only. The weekend was another good draw because we had such great weather. But then yesterday, Governor Malloy announces big plans for the XL Center and for Rentschler Field.
I know. We're sitting here a little dumbfounded because it's incredibly interesting for the NCAA to go out on a limb and say, we know the XL Center's got issues, but we are confident that the Malloy renovation plan will go through. I think this is almost like a vote of confidence.
Well, it's 2 years away, and they're playing round 1 and round 2 of the men's basketball championship in Hartford, Connecticut.
Which is
all the other places around the country that have new arenas can host this game. Why are they picking Hartford, Connecticut? If maybe this XL Center thing's going to move along.
It's a carrot.
Well, we do have UConn, and UConn is the draw. So UConn will not be playing at the XL Center because it has to be on neutral territory for those games. But remember, basketball fans come from all over, and that's what the Malloy administration is figuring. You're going to bring in all this money to the small businesses, restaurants, and everything else downtown, and then they come out and say they're having their lacrosse championships in 21 and 22.
Oh, was it?
2 or 3 years.
At Rentschler Field?
Black and Decker Stadium.
Is that what it's called now?
Yeah, Stanley Black and Decker Stadium.
You're kidding? I didn't hear that.
So
that's awful.
Now we've wrapped up everything we have on our pieces of paper because we're out of time. We're getting a sign from Jose, and we have to cut the game short. So we will have more information next week. We'll have our bracket.